You are not. You're not loved less because you failed. You're not disqualified because you struggled. Quick question, and hello and welcome. If we were to look at the fruits in our lives, what song are they singing? Would they say that actually this is a result of our lives as sons or as slaves? Fruits do speak. What are they saying about our lives? And I'm speaking from the creative part of who we are. When we're given a gift, when God has given us, this beautiful life and the things that He's put in our hearts, have we gone out to multiply that because we know that everything that He has is ours? Or are we like the slave or the servant who decided, no, I'm just going to keep it because he is a cruel master and I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to hide it? Is that what we've done because we do not know who we are and our perception of the Father is a little bit messed up? Where are you? I'm going to quickly paraphrase Luke 15 about, it's a parable of the prodigal son who asked for he asked for his inheritance. Goes away, squander the whole thing, and until he's in a place where he's like, okay, I think I need to go back. But for me to go back, I don't deserve to be a son in the house anymore. I will go back as a servant. Not to think about it, the good thing about the younger son, he actually knew he had an inheritance in the house. The brother comes back. His position and how he spoke, why are we having a party for him? He has wasted all that you gave him, and now he comes back and there's a feast. There's a ring on his finger. There's a garment, on his shoulder. I mean, what is going on? What is going on? And him telling the father, I worked for you like a slave. Basically, I did everything I needed to do, and you have never, ever, ever slaughtered anything for me. Like, there's never been a feast for me and my friends. And just these two mindsets, it's easier when we look at that in the Bible and say, I mean, you don't want to be neither. Yet, we take ourselves out of equation and we forget sometimes unconsciously we can actually be both. Unconsciously we can be one or the other. And just looking at that and how just because of the mistake that he did, that in itself changed how he saw himself. He forgot he was a son of the house and his perception of the father as well. He judged the father, or he stole the father based on the filter of what he thought he was in that moment. Because he had already decided, when I come home, because of the nature and the magnitude of what I've done, I can't come home and go back to the place where I belong in sonship. No, I need to be a slave first. I deserve to be punished because of what I've done. And how many times do we actually see ourselves as that, where now we begin to equate failure as something that needs to be punished? And I need you to take that and just appropriate that in the things that you're doing. For example, businesses that you're beginning to, you're working on and they're not working any, you've not been successful. In fact, you failed a few times, and maybe a mistake that you've made, and because of that, you've allowed, the condemnation that has come have kind of blinded you in a way that you see the Father. That even going back to him, you're hanging out with the pigs at the moment because you still have not figured out that you have a Father who's waiting for you to embrace you back home. And because of that, there's a delay, and we waste a lot of time in the in-betweens, where instead of making a mistake and knowing, actually, I can run home instead of running away from God, running away from the Father. I have a Father who In his presence, actually, I am safer there. I would rather be at the mercies of my father than being out there trying to figure it out by myself. And then we have the older brother as well. He has been at home. He's been doing everything right. Like, he would tick the box. He would tick every religious box that we have put there. For example, he is probably the one he'll be in church every Sunday. Wednesday, he's out there telling people about Christ, and just doing the to-do list box. But still, you can still do that. You can still do all that and still have no idea who your father is. And it is sad because sometimes you end up being this gatekeeper like the brother was. Hang on, this never happens to me. Why is it happening to them? They come back, and to have that ring in your finger, it's authority for those who come back and they embrace the extravagance of who the father is. If all you've done is slave in the house, be a slave in the house, that you should be learning how to rule and reign. Anybody else to come and embrace that, you see them as a threat. You see father as not, it's like he discriminates, which he does not. But because you're in your mindset, you've allowed a slave mindset even when you're in a palace. And because of that, anything that does not look like that, anyone that does not think it is you, becomes a threat. Yet the father, I like what the father says. It's beautiful, yet it's scary as well. I've always been with you, and everything that I have is yours. And this is for us as well, where sometimes we've limited who we are. We've had a very limited understanding of what sonship is, of what the Father has called us into. Sometimes when, we get scared of the thought of, like, how dare we rise? How do we think that we are unlimited? How do we think that we can do above and beyond what he has called us to? How dare we believe that? Because, in a way you feel like, oh, there is an unconscious part of you that feel like, I do not deserve that. I'm just going to play small and do what I'm told to do because the Father will be happy with me. But the Father is like, I have always been pleased with you. I've always been with you. And so, yeah, what are those things that sometimes we call failure? And what are the things that we have done that has stopped ourselves or have stopped us from seeing ourselves as the children of God? Because this affects everything else that we do. This affects how we multiply what has been given in our hands, the positions that we occupy, us taking dominion. Because you're not going to take dominion if somehow you believe that you are a slave. As a slave, you're trying to get by. I mean, you're okay. You're okay, God, just meeting your bills, Just, my rent has been paid this week. Phew. Thank you. I can continue to trust God for the next month. But when you know that the position of kingship is actually in you, that's who you are. He is a King of Kings. You are a king. When we know that, the kingdom economy is at our disposal, then us saying, no, I'm going to build legacy. I'm here to build generational wealth. Speaking like that, you cannot, there's one thing saying it, but when every fiber of your being believes it, then no one can stop you. But that's where we need to become conscious of some of the beliefs that we've inherited, some of the beliefs that we have said yes to, whether we are aware of it or not. Walk in the fullness of who we are. You're a son. Whether you're coming back home after you've used all your inheritance, or you're the son who was left back home, everything that belongs to the Father, he has already given that to you. I think I'm just going to say that you're not loved less because you failed. You're not disqualified because you struggled. Your identity is rooted in God's love and not your perfection. Your identity is rooted in God's love and not your perfection. So yeah, just remember who you are. And when you go out there, when you do what you need to do, it's for the sake of the kingdom. For the sake of a generation that is coming out of you. For the sake of your life as well. Do it from that place. Because then you're not going to limit what you can do, what you're capable of, and what can come out of you and through you. You are a son, and the kingdom is at hand. Much blessing.